Must be racing. Might as well. I'm walking through a ghost town, y'all ain't playing my sounds. Don't tell me to calm down, don't tell me to calm down. Only time I go backwards is when I wanna moonwalk. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. Don't test me, my mood's wrong. We are who we say that we are. Yeah, we're lost in the stars, and it's all from the start. Never running no pace, never on the right page, but we still read that book, and we still run that race. Mississippi racer riding out, no shortcuts, no time for that. Mississippi racer riding out, till the wheels fall off, I'm driving that. Mississippi racer riding out, we'll stop burning, strike the match. Mississippi racer riding out, red light, green light, red light, good night. 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 Time to chill, don't sweat it.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy, it's Guard E3, and welcome back to Sideline to Sideline. I got my background lit up some Packers colors, celebrating our win this past week. Let me get you introduced to the rest of the crew, though. Ladies and gentlemen, the man is prepping for a big game tonight. He's got a game against the New York Jets. His team does. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Prince of Production himself. It is Kyle Edwards. Kyle, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Look, it's a short week, but it's football. I'm here for it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they come out and whether or not they make some improvements to the passing game. But I'm excited for tonight.
Fair enough. And of course, below Kyle, this man's all over the place. He was on our show Tuesday. He's back now, looking for a bounce back week for his Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, he's taking it deep always. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gottfried.
No Diddy. So, yeah. I'm hoping the Eagles have a better week than Diddy did. That's all I know. So, no Diddy.
Well, I think everybody's going to have a better week than him, but... And of course, it is the man that makes this all happen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Gene Wozak. How you doing, Gene?
I could be doing better. I feel like that. Here's a quote I'll start the show with. When you argue with stupid people, don't never argue with stupid people, because from a distance, people can't tell who's who. Drives me nuts. I'm being very clear when I say this, right? I watch a lot of football. I break down a lot of sports, and it is so annoying to argue with dumb people about sports. I just mean that. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
It reminds me of a saying called what is it? Never get into a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent. It reminds me of that saying.
Or the other one is never argue with an idiot, because they'll beat you down, beat you with experience. Look, there's a lot of.
I never heard that one. That's pretty good.
They'll shrink you down to their level and they'll beat you at experience, is what they say. But listen, guys, we're gonna break down some stuff from last week. We're gonna preview tonight's football game. We're gonna do a little bit more preview tonight than we did last week. That was an understatement of the century. Thank you for everybody over Northeast Streaming Sports covering us on Roku tonight. Sideline to Sideline will be on Roku weekly. Thursday night, breaking down the NFL action coming on tonight and recapping a little bit. But we're going to recap at last Thursday's game because I haven't got you guys' opinions on this yet. Tua, concussion. Guys, I'm going to try to do this as nice as humanly possible. He says he's not retiring. Dolphins put him on IR. I got to give Mike McDaniel all the credit in the world. Mike McDaniel handled it like a class act. Give Mike McDaniel his roses. The line that he said to Tua was perfect. You are the quarterback of your family. Do you think Tua should retire? Do you think this should be the end of Tua? Your thoughts? I'll start with you, Kyle. You're in the same division.
I mean, the tricky part is obviously that he, being the competitor that he is, doesn't want to have this experience taken away from him because of the concussion issues. I get that. My thing is he's wearing one of the safe helmets that the league put out there before the season. He's wearing one of the three. I feel like if he wants to continue his career, the Guardian cap has to be part of his normal gear now. Few players have worn them during the game. A lot of them have said they've had concussions in the past, and that's why they're wearing them now. So I feel like for him, that's where this needs to go if he wants to continue his career. Guardian cap, and I guess wish for the best.
Yeah.
Godfrey?
Do I think he should retire? Yeah. But he got paid. His family's going to be set. I don't know how much he'll have to give back if he does retire, but I'm pretty sure a good portion of it's guaranteed where he still has generational wealth, right? But you can't put a price on health. And I think you should listen to the doctors and what they say. I don't think he's going to retire, but I think it's wild that he Kyle, I did not see him wearing a Guardian cap. Do you think you were saying he was not, right?
No, he wasn't.
Right. I find it wild that he wasn't wearing a Guardian cap.
Yeah.
Some of you are old enough to remember. I'm barely old enough to remember when hockey players, there was a guy named Craig McTavish that was grandfathered in and he wasn't wearing a helmet. And this is in the 90s in NHL, but people slowly adopted it. I think it's wild that all the players in the NFL aren't wearing a Guardian cap, to be honest, to see if it does work. But some won't. Some people won't wear, helmets on a motorcycle, which I think is wild too. But, we're a country of free will. I think he should retire, in my opinion. I don't think he will. I think he's going to give it one more go. And then if he gets another concussion, he'll retire then. That's what I think is going to happen.
Guardy 3.
It's tough for me to say, obviously, because I'm not sure how he's recovering from all this. Like, from the outside looking in, it does feel like he should strongly consider retiring. But I also understand why he wouldn't, because you need a certain level of competitive fire to get you to this NFL level. That's probably telling him right now that it's just another setback. He can bounce back. He can keep going. At the end of the day, at least I would retire, but at least if I'm to, I hope he's making decisions for himself and not, going to try to push himself to play for the team or for anybody else. I just want him to be okay and make an educated decision based on himself. But yeah, I think he should retire.
I got to just completely echo what my man Chase said. Two of the scariest moments I've ever seen on a football field have happened to Tua. If I'm the NFLPA, I'm stepping in and making the Dolphins buy out his contract. One of the next times this happens to Tua, because it will happen, it could be life-altering. Chase, I could not agree with you more. I would love to talk with you about it more. It's absolutely embarrassing to see what's going on with Tua, and I just can't. I love what the Dolphins are doing, but it just reminds me of what happened with Chris Bosh and the situation that happened with the Miami Heat. Chris Bosh had a heart issue. The Miami Heat said he's not healthy enough to play. Chris Bosh wanted to play. Miami Heat said, no, we're not allowing it. And I think the NFLPA needs to do the same thing. Dan McDonald checks in, says Tua should absolutely retire. Otherwise, he is going to be one hit away from a serious health issue. He has kids and a family. It's not worth it. I have to imagine Miami put a clause in his contract should the head injuries continue. Yes, they did. $92 million the guy would get. $92 million if he retired tomorrow. Got to look into it. It's got to be something you look into. Not going to spend a lot of time on here, but I wanted to get everybody's opinion on it before we moved on. Got to talk about what happened Sunday. Bryce Young has now been benched for the Carolina Panthers. I have a huge issue with this, and I'll start with this. I gave my thoughts on it last night on Wire to Wire. I'll give my thoughts on it today. I don't understand how an organization can be worse than the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. I've seen they had the worst organizations in sports, Carolina, the Washington Wizards, all these situations that happen in all these different sports. Carolina is a dumpster fire. Let's run you through the Bryce Young experience. Let's run through it, okay? Bryce Young has a great junior year at Alabama. He's eligible to come after his junior year. Has a great junior year at Alabama. Him and C.J. Stroud are projected to be the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks in the draft. Teams are looking at both of them. Teams are looking to trade up. Some like Bryce Young, some like C.J. Stroud. The Carolina Panthers hire Frank Wright and Josh McCown to be their quarterback's coach and their head coach. Frank and Josh like CJ Stroud. The owner's wife likes CJ Stroud. The owner likes Bryce Young, decides that the GM is drafting Bryce Young. He goes into a situation in which nobody really wanted him. They did not design an offense around Bryce Young. It was a pro-style offense that was being ran in Indianapolis the year prior. I blame Frank and Josh for not changing the offense. They fire the Carolina Panthers head coach, Frank Wright, Deuce Staley, Josh McCown, 6 games into the season because they didn't believe in Bryce Young. They wanted to bench Bryce Young. They fire him. He basically goes the rest of the year with an interim head coach. They hire Dave Canales, a guy that's had success with Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. Did you guys not know this was doomed immediately when Canales said, oh, we're not building an offense around Bryce Young. He's going to fit into the offense that we've had built. Then Bryce Young, your number 1 draft pick, new quarterback to the league. Guess what? They play him 1 series in the preseason. 1 series. You want to build the guy's confidence? Have him play against second stringers, third stringers. Have him play against a vanilla defense. Have him get timing with the team. 1 series he plays in the preseason. And then 2 games in, after playing 2 defensive-minded head coaches, and Jim Harbaugh and Dennis Allen, 2 teams that are 2-0, Bryce Young is now benched. Now, I'm not disagreeing with them benching him. They're benching him to save the locker room. I understand the concept of benching your quarterback because he's just not seeing the reads. He's not. I blame it's an organizational failure. And if I'm Bryce Young, I am asking to be out immediately. Get me out of here. Your thoughts? I'll start with you, Brett.
No, I agree with that totally. It seemed like last year he didn't fit the offense and him just didn't click. At the end of the day, it just seems as simple as they completely destroyed his confidence and didn't give him any time in the preseason to maybe build it back up. Then just threw him back out in the fire. Unfortunately, I don't blame Bryce Young for this. I understand that he indeed did look the part of a rookie. He looked rough at times, but that's just growing pains. So I absolutely, at the end of the day, think that I agree with you, and this is just an organizational failure on the part of the Carolina Panthers.
Kyle, let me ask you a question real quick. Has Carolina married the coach to the quarterback? Chase checks in and says Carolina, Chicago eloped the quarterback to the quarterback to the coach and didn't marry them. Well, your thoughts on Carolina's handling of Bryce Young?
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, only because Frank Reich didn't want him. You took him anyway. You got rid of Frank Reich. You brought in somebody who assumed wanted to coach Bryce Young. He gets a game or 2 and he's benched. So what'd you bring in this new guy for if obviously he couldn't make it work with Bryce Young? I just don't get it unless they think that this team is a playoff team and Andy Dalton's going to get them there. What sense does this move make? Like, if they're going to be bad with Andy Dalton, you can at least be bad with Bryce Young and hope that something clicks and maybe he, creates some type of chemistry with one of these receivers or something like that. And then maybe next year he's better for it. Like, nobody's expecting anything from Carolina this year. I don't understand this move at all. Jory did say that David Tepper's a putrid owner. Put this down as reason number 1,000,002 why he is a terrible owner. And I agree with you. If I'm Bryce Young, I don't care where it is. I cannot be in Carolina because clearly you guys don't want me here. And what am I going to sit here and waste time for? I know they came out and said, they're not going to trade him. I think that's stupid because what does him staying there do for him or the team? You're better off trading him, get whatever draft capital you can because you definitely need it on this team that's doesn't have a lot of talent on it, but you're going to keep him to prove some type of point. And the worst thing would be a couple of weeks down the line, they go back to him, making it seem like, oh, everything's fixed now, and he struggles again. Then you really look dumb. So I don't understand this in any way. And it's Carolina. I don't understand a lot of things going on in Carolina.
Help me out, Godfrey. The Carolina Panthers, be on their side. Somebody give them any credit. Just tell me Bryce Young stinks.
I think when I read about Bryce Young and Frank Reich, I think that rumor it's kind of a lot of conjecture. I read quotes from Frank Reich saying Young was the guy, and I'm trying to find out where that rumor came from because I've heard it a lot outside of this room. Frank Reich he's a pretty honest man. That's what I'll say about Frank Reich. And the mistake that was made, if he said he wanted CJ Stroud, was the owner not letting his GM do the job.
Scott Fowler, I will tell you that Frank Reich was locked in on Bryce, and people who say no, he wanted CJ Stroud and Tepper forced his hand. That's not true. That's the comment that you're referring to. Is Scott Fowler's comment about Frank Reich responding to it. Frank Reich responds to the rumblings of the draft process. This is also why he was still the head coach on the Carolina Panthers. So of course, that's the response you're getting. I completely disagree. There's been too much smoke coming out of organization that said that Frank Reich wanted Stroud over Young, but Tepper wanted Young.
Well, Reich said, this is a quote, he attended a meeting regarding 2023 class QB prospects a few weeks after accepting the head coaching job and witnessed unanimous consensus that Young was the guy. The conviction only grew stronger after meeting with the QB and picking his mind. That's a quote from Frank Reich. So unless he's bold-faced lying.
When was the quote?
April 23rd, 2023.
Okay. So
April 28th, sorry.
That was after the draft. So what do you think the head coach of the football team is going to say after they draft Bryce Young?
They are. But if that's the case, and he did not want him, the first mistake was not letting the GM and coach do their job. You are not a football coach. You're an owner. Okay. He's trying to play Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones did play football though, actually, but in college, but he's not letting them do their job. He's a meddling owner and he needs to so if your coach says that, because listen, I hope Bryce Young succeeds, but from what I see so far, I don't know if it's situation or he just doesn't have it, but if he does have it, ask for the trade. Right. I think you should ask for the trade. Right. I mean, this is Zach Wilson just in a different setting right now. I don't know if Zach was the guy, but I don't think they were fostering his growth. And I don't think they're fostering his growth there right now. I'm not surprised it happened with a new coach coming in because in all reality, whether you're a good coach or not, if you don't get wins, you're going to get fired and your QB is attached to your success. So you have to make a decision. I don't think a benching is necessarily bad if it's handled correctly. When he wanted to do it early on in the 2000 or the season before, maybe they should have let him do that. I mean, other quarterbacks have been benched. The game is fast.
I don't understand why you hire a coach and then you fire him after 6 games with a rookie quarterback. Doesn't that make sense to me?
Because he's a meddling owner. I mean, you gotta let the coaches, let your people do their job. He is the worst owner in sports. Daniel Snyder's gone. David Tepper's moved into the number 1 spot. Okay, pretty simple. And I think Bryce Young, great kid. I hope maybe he proves everybody wrong. I have issues with his size, but some people say things like, "Hey, he might be really good in an offense like the Miami Dolphins, right? Maybe that's something that's good for him there." I would be maybe knocking on their door for the future if I was the Dolphins. So yeah, I think they're a bad organization. I don't know if Bryce Young was set up for success in that organization. I'm old school, and I think these quarterbacks get rushed into their first year of service too quick because they want to take advantage of the 5th year option sometimes or whatever it may be. They want to put butts in the seat. And I'm a big believer in sitting your valued QB prospect year 1, at least the 3/4 of the year. They did it with Patrick Mahomes, and he has a complicated offense, but it worked out beautifully for them. And that's how it used to be, right? And they should have did that. Let the kid learn, get the speed of the game down because there's a speed difference between the college and the pros. And instead, they press him into service right away on a bad team. not even on a good team. When
Yeah.
Mahomes was there, he was on a good team. They were a playoff team, and he got pressed into service a year later on a playoff squad. I don't think they set him up for success. I agree. I don't know if it's there or not. It might not be.
The sad part about it, Godfrey, is that I don't think he'll ever be able to be set up for success because no team is going to get Bryce Young and build an offense around him. He's going to be a project they just try to fit into their offense. And look, go back, watch the tape. What this kid did against the Georgia defense that has 7 starters in the NFL on it. Right now, they have 7 NFL starters, and that doesn't include Keely Ringo, who's a backup for the Philadelphia Eagles. They had Nolan Smith. They had the Georgia defense, number 1 overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Javon Walker, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean. Who's your Quay Walker? How's Quay Walker look? How about your defensive tackle from Georgia? How's he look?
They look really good so far. I'm really proud of them so far.
But Bryce Young absolutely dismantled that team in the SEC championship. Guys, it's crazy. I guess he's a bad quarterback. He can't play football.
I mean, he might not be. He may be good. Maybe he goes the way of, Baker Mayfield and gets a little bit of redemption.
It's not just Baker. Who else is 2-0 that used to play for Carolina as their last quarterback? Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. They just leave Carolina, and all of a sudden they know how to play football again.
Carolina could be good luck, Chuck. I will say that I don't know if Baker was that good in Carolina, and I don't know if I buy Sam Darnold 2-0. Yes, he's doing good.
Buy him 2-0. He had a perfect quarterback rate in week 1, and last week he looked great against the 49ers.
My grandmother could pass against the Giants. He didn't look as great against the 49ers. If you guys think Sam Darnold's the guy for 16 games, be my guest. I ain't hitching my wagon.
I'm not saying he's the guy for 16 games, but let's look at Sam Darnold's career. He played for the Jets, who've notably been terrible with young quarterbacks. Mark Sanchez, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold. And he played for the Carolina Panthers, who notably have been terrible with young quarterbacks. I'm just saying, don't write the book. Geno Smith revitalized his career, leaving the Jets to go to Seattle. He's not great, but I watched Sam Darnold play at USC, and he looked great.
You know what I need to see from Bryce Young?
What?
He needs to stop taking it on the chin and speak up for himself.
Yeah, but you can't do that, man.
Why not? What's he got to lose?
Other teams are looking at you. Did Baker Mayfield do that in Carolina? Did Sam Darnold do it in Carolina? Did Geno Smith?
They want it out of there, but they definitely spoke. Baker definitely spoke up in Cleveland, and and Sam Darnold. I don't have the same opinion on him, so I can't say that. Bryce Young, I think, has more potential as a rookie than Sam Darnold did, in my opinion. If we're comparing both at the same stage, I think Bryce Young.
Remember watching Sam Darnold at UFC throwing 7 touchdowns in the Rose Bowl versus Penn State?
But you can be
great.
You can be a good quarterback in college and not translate to the pros. It is possible.
But USC was the most pro style offense you could play in. That was. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. My whole point being is, it's. I don't think it's over for him, and I'm hoping he gets another opportunity somewhere else. I hope it's not in Carolina, because Carolina is absolutely a graveyard. We got to move on. We're 24 minutes in. There's something I wanted to do with you guys, and we did it on the morning show, and I want to do it a little bit different. They did it. Are you panicking or you're not panicking? Everybody that's 0-2 better be panicking. I'm going to give you the panic meter. 10 being they're out of it. They're done. 7 being they're on life alert. 4 being they better win this week. And 1 being you have 0 issues whatsoever. 1 to 10 scale. I'm going to give you 6 teams that are 0-2, and I want you to tell me where your panic meter is. Is that cool? We'll go quick here.
Okay.
Kyle, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. They're 0-2. They got to play at Dallas this week. Where's your panic meter with the Baltimore Ravens?
I'll go like a 6. Defensively, I've been worried about what I've been seeing from them, and the schedule doesn't get necessarily easier after Dallas. Like if they lose this week, 0-5 is on the horizon. So 6.
Brett, where are you at?
I would say going into this week, I would say out of the scale of 1 to 10, it'd be like a 3. But if they lose this week, then it gets ratcheted up. Probably
Yeah, but just going in this week. It's going in this week.
I'm going to go with the 3 then.
Remember, 4 is they better win this week. That's what 4 is.
Okay, I'll do 4. I think that's perfect where I'm at.
3's fine. 3's fine. But Godfrey, where you at? 1 to 10 on the Ravens.
5. And
I'm on a 4. I'm on a 4.
I'm on a 5 because of this. We always talk about this all the time. The league is a copycat league, and it's a league of adjustments. There's a lot of tape on Lamar Jackson. Brian Fuller gave a pretty good blueprint when he was in Miami. A lot of defensive coordinators are learning how to play him. And I think that they're seeing where his limitations are, and they're going to go as far as they can carry him. They have a good defense, but that's their guy. You know what I mean? And they're going to have to change something up. Listen, for you to be
Cincinnati Bengals, Godfrey.
Am I worried about them?
Oh, 1 through 10, Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm at a 3.5. I'm at a 3 because they always start off slow. I mean, they're going to come out guns a-blazing and destroy that poultry secondary in Washington this week.
Right.
So.
Mr. Gardy 3.
I'm a little bit more worried about the Bengals as long as they don't have some key pieces. I'm going to go with like a 6 for them.
Kyle Edwards.
I'm at like a 5 only because the talent there I worry about. Like Joe Burrow, I think can turn around, but I'll go for a 5 right now.
I'm at a 5 also just because their schedule gets ridiculously easier. They have the Commanders and the Panthers next week. They're 2-2, and then we can readdress that with the Ravens game when they're 2-2 in that situation. Moving forward, guys, Jacksonville Jaguars 0-2. I'll start. I'm at a 7. I might be at a 9. You can't lose 2 football games you were supposed to win. 7. Kyle, good.
I'm kind of there with you. I mean, I wasn't big on them coming into the season.
Well,
and
it's like 9 or 10. Go further.
I was about to say, I'm at like an 8 with them.
Okay. You got 11, Godfrey? Go with 11.
No, I'm around a 7. I'm around a 7.
They got to play Buffalo this week.
They do. I think
Buffalo.
The NFL never pans out the way we think it is. If it was the case, we'd all be millionaires because we'd be putting all the money down on the winning bets. I think the talent's there. Here's the thing. Doug Peterson, outside of the Super Bowl season and his very first season, his teams are notorious for starting off slow. We saw it the year before, and the Jaguars came roaring back. And this is, I don't know if it
doesn't get easier. At Buffalo, at the Texans, home in a division game versus the Colts, home versus the Bears, the Patriots, the Packers, the Eagles. They don't have an easy schedule, brother. They had to be 2-0 right now. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hear you. The NFL's weird, man. It pays. I'm about a 7. I'm worried. I mean, I think the coaches are out coaching themselves, to be honest. 2 targets for 4 yards to Christian Kirk. I don't know what's going on. It's an injury concerned. The play calling at certain points of the game. You brought it up the other day, Gene. The run plays in the end of the game. It's a worry down there. Yeah, they're going to be in London in a couple years at this point.
I only bring this next team up because Kyle had them in the playoffs. The Tennessee Titans and Will Levis 0-2. I'm at a 10. I mean, what do you mean? They had 2 games that they could have won football games and lost because Will Levis threw the ball backwards. Like, I love what the defense looks like. By the way, Brian Callahan has to be the most refreshing coach to listen to in a press conference ever. I think they're going to be great next year. I think the Titans' year to shine is next year. 10.
If that was his quarterback he drafted, though, would he be saying that?
No. But I think it's hilarious that he's saying what we're all saying at home. What the F are you doing on the football field? Gets caught. And then they ask him about it in a press conference. He goes, yeah, I said it. I get it. Chase said a 15. 10's the highest I can go. I made the scale. You can go higher.
Yeah, I'm at 10. I mean, the quarterback is the biggest piece, right? Like, and if he's making mistakes like that and your defense is putting you in position to win. I'll tell you what, you talk about Bryce Young getting benched. Well, he's going to lose the locker room if he doesn't bench Will Levis, because if the defense is putting you in positions to win and he's blowing the game single-handedly, that's going to lose the locker room. You're going to have to make a change.
You know what the funny thing is? Outside those terrible interceptions, I don't think Will Levis looked that bad. When you break down the full Tennessee Titans game, it doesn't look that bad. But those turnovers, the interception to Jalen Johnson was awful. And then the throwing the ball backwards when you're in field goal range, that gave the Jets so much life last week. I give them a 10 because the situation that they're in. I think their defense is really good. I do. But watch how this plays out. They play Green Bay this week, which I think is the biggest lock of the year. I think Tennessee wins this game. They go to at Miami. I guess it gets a little easier there because there's no Tua. I counted that as a loss. But they got Indy, Buffalo, Detroit, at Buffalo, at Detroit. Their schedule doesn't get easier either. Guardy 3, where are you at on the Titans?
It's funny because I would probably say like a 6. Actually, outside of like you just said, outside of the Will Levis like blunders, which when it's bad for him, it's really bad. But he's also shown a lot of promise. He's
100%.
made a lot of great plays, so I think there's a very real chance that he still turns it around and the Titans go on a nice run here. I like them better than the Jaguars going further into the year, so I'm going to go with 6 on the Titans.
Kyle?
I mean, I had them in the playoffs. I still hold out the chance of it because of the defense. I think the defense can continue this play. I feel like with Levis and the way Callahan has talked about him, he will learn. Like, he can't do this every week, obviously, because I agree with you. The throw to Calvin Ridley, the throw to Tony Pollard, he makes great throws, and it's just unfortunately the backwards pass is what everybody looks at and goes, oh, here he goes again. So I think it's salvageable. I'm kind of like with Brett. I'd say like 5 or 6 area right now.
Okay, 2 more. We got to be quick on these ones because we want to preview a football game. And look, I only bring this up because I want to gloat. That's all the reason I bring this up. The Indianapolis Colts. Guys, that team looks like a really good football team that has a quarterback that cannot throw an intermediate route. If you watch the Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson might throw the most pretty deep ball in the whole league. They have a good offensive line. They have a decent defense. They have a good running back. They cannot make a throw from 5 to 25 yards. Anthony Richardson is clueless. Where are you at with the Colts at 0-2?
I don't know. It's just like, how much can you really win if what you do well is a deep ball? Which, yes, that's a great part of the game plan to have. But like Godfrey said, if everybody just starts playing you on the deep ball and forcing you to be accurate in the intermediate and you can't do that, then what are you really doing? So for the Colts, I mean, I had them finishing last anyway. I mean,
but some people over-under was like 8.5, remember? Some people had them winning the division.
I had them under that. But so, I mean, technically, I'm not worried about them because this is what I kind of expected. But I guess you'd have to be at like an 8 with them. Because if Anthony Richardson can only throw the deep ball, what are you supposed to do with that? And Jonathan Taylor, they're going to load the box on him. So, yeah. No, you good. You good.
Guardy 3, where you at?
Who had put the Jags at an 8? I'm going to go with a 10 for the Colts. I do not like what I saw from them. Anthony Richardson, you just mentioned him, but I'll mention this too. That defense knew the run was coming. They knew all the Packers were going to do was run the ball, minimize Malik Willis, and they still couldn't stop it. That run defense is going to break their back. I don't care how great that coverage is. If I can just run the ball 50 times on you and just go ballistic like that, I think that kills them.
Bro, I got to give the Packers so much credit. I got to give the Packers so much credit. They came out there and ran the football 2 straight weeks. They played good defense this past week. I got to give them credit. I hate to say what I'm about to say to you, Guardy 3, but I give the coaching staff for Green Bay a ton of credit. Godfrey, where are you at on the Indianapolis Colts?
I'm a 10 on them.
I'm a 10 also.
because
they're done. I think it's over, and that's what 10 is. It's over. It's done. They're done.
No run defense, and if you can't move the chains on the other side of the ball, that is a bad combination. You know, it's you can't do it, and their run defense is bad. It's like a hot dog on a highway.
We can nicely say if they split the next 4 games, and it's Bears, Steelers, Jaguars, at Titans. If they split the next 4 games, they're still 2-4. They're not going to win. They're not going 3-1 in those 4 games.
Bears are going to
eat with those defenses. No way. And then last one, I only bring this up because a lot of people had them in the playoffs. I had them as the 7th seed in the NFC. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. I might break my own scale. The LA Rams, 10.
Yeah, they're 15 for me. They're 15.
Yeah.
Dude,
10.
The Rams, I think when they have that many injuries, the organization, how they are, I think they'll put Cooper Kupp on IR if they lose the next couple games. You'll be like, wow, where did that come from? They did it 2 years ago. They started packing up, and I just think, yeah, they're done. They're done.
Can I give you guys just something that could happen? The Miami Dolphins should trade for Matthew Stafford.
Will he do it, though? Is the question. Like, well,
with who?
Stafford.
Why would you not? With that big of an arm, you get to go down and play with Mike McDaniel, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Guardy 3, where are you at on the Miami Dolphins? I'm sorry, the LA Rams.
You could have asked me 2 weeks ago on the LA Rams. I still would have given you a 10. I would never believed in this team really at all. So I'm going to go with the 10.
Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not be at a 10? I mean, I didn't have them as a playoff team, but I saw where a lot of people did have them because of the talent. But a lot of that talent is now sitting on the sideline being injured. And even before that, the defense was not that great to me. So, yeah, it's over for them.
All right. Well, let's break down a football game. Football game tonight. New England Patriots, New York Jets in New York. Home opener for the Jets after 2 straight road games. One game absolutely getting smacked around by the San Francisco 49ers. Came back last week, played a very good Titans defense. Took them a little bit to get rolling, but it looked like Aaron Rodgers got a little bit more comfortable in the second half of that football game. Breece Hall looks good. Garrett Wilson's not getting the targets you expected. Let's go into New England Patriots. Go in first week of the season and smack the Cincinnati Bengals in the mouth. And they had 2-0 right in their grasp. They had that game, in my opinion, versus Seattle. Let me just give credit where credit is due. I love Gerard Mayo's scheme, the toughness of that New England Patriots team. They are going to be a team that not a lot of teams want to play. They're going to smack you in the mouth. They're going to play physical football. And that is the brand of Boston, New England football. They want to play tough. They want to play hard-nosed. They don't want to be a pushover. I give them credit. I think this New England Patriots team rebuild will be a lot shorter than people are giving credit. I still think they're in a rebuild, but I think it'll be a lot shorter than people are saying. That offensive line has played over their heads the last 2 weeks. You're talking about an offensive line that was ranked 32nd out of 32 offensive lines going into the season. Someone showed them the clip of that. Because Ramondre Stevenson and that offensive line have been playing good football. They're going to play a Jets team tonight that lacks an edge pass rush. Lost Bryce Huff last year to Philadelphia. Hassan Reddick still is not reported. Short week in New York. This is a tough game. This is a tough football game for both of these teams. Kyle, I know you're a Patriots fan. Do me a favor. I want you to sell me, sell the audience, sell Guardy 3, sell Godfrey. Let us know how the Patriots win the football game tonight.
So the way that they have to do it is, you're relying on a couple of young guys in the offensive line. I believe you have Layden Robinson. I think Cason Wallace, I believe, is going to start at left tackle tonight. So the running game has to be there between Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, who came on against Seattle. He played better against them than against Cincinnati. Those two have to get the running game going, and Gerard Mayo's come out and said it. They have to get the ball to the wide receivers. You got Pop Douglas, had a good year last year. He's been kind of MIA so far. Jalen Polk, although he did catch a touchdown, he's been able to create some separation. It's just been about Jacoby Brissett being kind of locked in on Hunter Henry, who's having a really great season. So if they can get into like play action situations and get the ball downfield, I feel like they have a shot. And I think their defense will hold up. I haven't been necessarily impressed with Aaron Rodgers so far. I mean, you can equate that to him not playing in the preseason and him kind of getting his legs under him. But I think, Keon White and the Patriots defense can give Aaron Rodgers some trouble. I think they'll give him some looks. Obviously, he's been around 17 years. He's seen it all. But I think the Patriots keep it close into the fourth quarter. I think the Patriots can get it done, especially if they have like a lead. Like if this game gets out of hand early, then yeah, the Patriots aren't built to come back on teams like that. But all they gotta do is keep it close, get physical, because Ramondre Stevenson in the fourth quarter is not an easy guy to bring down. So that's got to be their formula.
Okay. That was a passionate speech. That you gave me an option. CJ Mosley's out tonight for the Jets. That'll be helpful for that run game. CJ Mosley being a great run stuffer for the New York Jets. They still do have Quincy Williams, though, and Quinyon Williams. I think that this is a tough game for the New England Patriots. I really believe it. And you're playing that home opener. I think that the Jets are going to be fired up playing in front of that home crowd. So this is last year. 4 plays in. No Aaron Rodgers. But with that being said, the Patriots are missing 2/5 of their offensive line tonight. Caden Wallace is starting. Michael B. Jordan starting at left guard. No, I'm kidding. But the point being is, this short week isn't good on that offensive line. I think the Jets are in that backfield all night tonight. I love the Jets. I think it's a backdoor cover, though. I think the game's close. I think it's low scoring. I got the Jets winning the football game 20-15 with a backdoor cover. I think it's ugly. I think you'll see a lot of, back and forth. I think the Jets will move the football. I think they'll stall out because that New England defense is tough. I have the Jets winning, the Patriots covering. Where you at, Godfrey?
I think this is the true, I don't know, you don't want to hear this, Kyle, the true homecoming of Aaron Rodgers to New York. I think this is where they start to feel like, okay, we're a different team now. And I started to see it. You got to look at the intricacies of the end of that Tennessee game. And that was Aaron Rodgers making the calls, moving the things around at the end, getting Braylon Allen open. And he was being a maestro out there, like the good Aaron Rodgers we've seen. Then that tells me he's going to go out there and he's going to strum on the New England Patriots, and they're going to cover easily. He's going to be a rock star tonight. It's in New York, right? Am I correct? Is it in New York?
It's in New York.
Oh, yep. Man, this is what was supposed to happen last year, week 1. It's going to happen now.
Guardy 3. Break it down for me.
I actually disagree with it being the Jets covering easily. I think there's a couple of key factors here that actually favor New England. I do think the Jets win this game, but I think the Jets have a really big issue that favors New England. This is a team that's ranked 23rd, according to PFF, in tackling, going against Ramondre Stevenson, who just set the NFL record, 118 yards after contact. They're also 25th in run defense. I think this is going to be a game where New England does its best all game. They're going to run the ball. They're going to control the clock. Ramondre Stevenson's going to look incredible. He's going to break quite a few tackles. Overall, I think the Patriots still fall to the Jets. I think it's probably going to be like 20-17, a low-scoring game. But overall, I think this game's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think.
I agree with you. I have a backdoor cover. I think the Patriots keep it close. I think it might be like a 20-8 game at one point. The Patriots score a touchdown and make it 20-15 or something. 20-9. They score a touchdown. They go for 2. They don't get the 2-point conversion. I think it lands at 5. I really believe that. I think that the Patriots will have no problem moving the sticks. I think they'll have problems getting in the end zone, in the red zone. I think that's where they'll stall down. A lot of these defenses, in particular Robert Saleh defenses, will sometimes allow yards, but they don't really allow you to score touchdowns. But I think it'll be a very good football game. Muck and grind. The key to the game to me is, can New England's offense sustain the ball and keep the ball? They got to play keep away. They got to run. They got to look. If New England's snapping the ball with 9 seconds left on the shot clock or on the play clock, that's a problem. They should be snapping the ball with 2 seconds on the play clock every single time. Limit possessions, run the football, move the sticks. Hey, 3 yards on first down is not a bad thing. Just don't stay behind the sticks. Do not allow TFLs. That's huge for New England tonight. If they're playing 3rd and 11, they're going to get killed. They're going to get absolutely destroyed. I don't think Gerard Mayo will let them do that. I think the Patriots keep this game close. I think they're better than everyone gave them credit for this year. I'll give you that. I thought they were going to beat Seattle last week. I give them all the credit in the world. They're playing for that head coach. And Gerard Mayo was the right hire. He's a great coach, in my opinion. I love the toughness that New England is showing. I just think the Jets are tougher. I think they're more talented. And I think that it's going to be very tough for a very weak passing game of the New England Patriots to pass the ball against one of the best secondaries in all football. Let's call a spade. What the Jets do really good, the Patriots do really bad. And when that happens, the Jets can start filling the box, 7-8 guys in the box, playing man coverage on the outside. I have no fear of Jalen Polk running by Sauce Gardner. I don't. If I'm the Jets, every guy that's not man-to-man coverage, I'm running cover 0 and getting in the backfield all night, making the Patriots pass the ball to beat me. That's where I'm at if I'm the Jets. I think that's what will eventually end up happening.
Did nobody see DK Metcalf run wild with Geno Smith last week on that Patriots secondary?
Yeah, it was one blown coverage. He didn't run wild.
Yeah.
Well, him and Locke had a pretty good game. I think the ceiling's higher for Rodgers. I think and Garrett Wilson. And I think Mike Williams is a surprise game tonight.
I think a lot of teams, though, would struggle with Metcalf, Smith and Jigba, and Lockett. That's a pretty decent wide receiver group.
Hey, for throwing the ball for 327 yards to only score 23 points in overtime, I don't know, man. DK Metcalf, 14 targets, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 16 targets. Those guys had a lot of yards, but they, one big play. I just want to break this down for you real quick. 56-yard play on blown coverage to DK Metcalf, right? Let's minus that 56 yards off. It was blown coverage. This is what it is. Let's take that off, okay? He had 9 catches for 70 yards. Like, that's not, 6-yard out, 5-yard slant. It's not like he's doing much. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 24-yard play. Outside that, 11 catches for 90 yards. The Patriots defense, and what they did on the ground, man, they ran the ball 36 times for 185 yards. I think New England's a very tough team, and I think you're going to see them fight a lot this year and be in a lot of these muck and grind games. Ain't nothing wrong with a little muck and grind. I changed the lyrics. It's okay. So we're all in the Jets to win. Oh, no, we're not. You have the New England Patriots winning the football game, Kyle? You said it last night, Wire to Wire. I need you to stand on it.
I do. I have it. I have it as 2017. I think what we see tonight is we see a little bit more in the screen game. They haven't actually used much screen, which a lot of teams, when I feel like they're trying to get their offense going, that's where they turn to. So expect to see a lot of Gibson and Stevenson in screen play tonight. Now, whether that's effective, I don't know, but they just need to do something different with the passing game right now. And maybe that opens up, a play for one of these receivers downfield. But I'll take 2017 Patriots.
Okay. And you have 2017 Jets, Brett?
Yeah. And
then Godfrey's got the Jets in a blowout. I have the Jets in a win, but a backdoor cover for New England, 20-15. I love what Godfrey said. I waited to do this segment to the end of the show. He gave us a segment, and I want to play it. I want to do it. I loved it. So what he said was basically a call pass, right? We're getting somebody out of the situation. Which players on an island on a bad team that you would like to see freed from their bad situation? I love this question. I love where you're headed, Godfrey. Godfrey, since you're the guy that brought it up, why don't you start us? Tell us where you're at.
Some people might disagree with me on this because they like the upside of the young quarterback, but I want Terry McLaurin to get a good, stable quarterback for once in his damn career. Give me a year of Scary Terry on an offense that can do something, because that's supposed to be.
We got to move him somewhere. Where are we moving him? Where's a formidable spot to move him?
I would love to see him on the Eagles, but that's not going to happen. So, I think he would pair really well. Take him to the Pittsburgh Steelers, opposite of George Pickens.
I disagree. I think Terry McLaurin, if you're moving him, you got to move him to the LA Chargers. Give Justin Herbert and that rocket a weapon to throw the ball downfield to. But that's okay. It's a good move. Terry McLaurin off the Washington Commanders. Who's
Save
next?
him, rescue him.
Who's next? Don't all jump at once, boys.
I'll go. All right. We kind of talked about this team earlier. I would like to see Michael Pittman out of Indy. I feel like we're seeing Anthony Richardson really prefer to throw to Alec Pierce downfield. I was looking at Pittman's numbers. Like, his targets are down. He's been a guy who catches over 100 passes. He's on pace for like 56 this year. His yards after catch is down as well. I just feel like he and Richardson aren't going to vibe, especially with Richardson only wanting to just chuck it downfield. Now, where I could see Pittman going, I don't know, maybe a team like a Buffalo or, I'll go Buffalo, even though in the division, I really wouldn't want to see Josh Allen necessarily gain a weapon like that. But I feel like if he was there playing off of Shakir, because Shakir looks like a favorite target for Josh Allen. But what happens if teams start taking him away? That might stall Buffalo's offense a little bit. I think Pittman would fit perfectly there.
I like that. Now I want to rewind it and put McLaurin in Buffalo. No, I like that. That's a good answer.
Okay. Guardy 3. Who are you moving and where are you moving them?
Is it too early to say Bryce Young yet? No. I would love to see one of the more recent paid quarterbacks in a different situation. I would love to see Trevor Lawrence in a different situation, because I want to know for sure if it's him or the Jaguars. And I feel like a lot of what's going on right now, the Jaguars have to be, they're just not executing. I would love to see Trevor Lawrence go to like the Dolphins to throw him in with Reek and Waddle, A-Chain, and then we get to see what Trevor Lawrence is really all about.
Well, I'm going to be super selfish here, guys. I'm going to be very selfish. I seen a guy that's played basically his whole career on a team that probably will never win a playoff game during his entire career. I want to see Max Crosby playing for a team in the playoffs. I want to see Max Crosby on the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to add him and give the pass rush that the Eagles need, the toughness on that defensive line that they lost with no Fletcher Cox, no Hassan Reddick. I want Max Crosby moved out of Las Vegas and move him on to Philadelphia. That's where I'm at. As soon as I see the next question, I want it to be different. I know you guys are wide receivers. It's cool. I want to see Mad Max playing for a team in January. Love me some Max Crosby, by the way.
That'd be sick.
That'd be interesting.
All right, so last segment of the night before we get into this New England Jets game as a whole, we're going to go turn it on and watch some Thursday Night Football. I want you to give me your stone cold lead pipe lock for this Sunday. I'll start. I gave it away already. I've been waiting to do this. Guardy 3, if Jordan Love does not start, Jordan Love makes it back this weekend. I don't think he is. If he does, all bets are off. If Jordan Love does not start, the Tennessee Titans are going to abuse Malik Willis. And I'm sorry. I apologize. I think Jordan Love comes back. I think that the Packers look great. I think that the Titans will be able to stop the run and be able to load the box. And I think the Titans get a little get back on their former quarterback, Malik Willis, and they absolutely trounce. I think this game could be 35-3. I think it could be that bad. I think Malik Willis could be pulled. They're grabbing guys from the stands to play quarterback. I don't think this game goes well for Green Bay. I think it's an easy Titans win. They let their frustrations out on Green Bay, who's coming off an emotional home win. Great win, by the way, over the Colts. And I think next week you see Jordan Love back on the field. That's my lead pipe lock this week.
It's funny. It's funny that you do that because I was going to bring up your guys' team. I think the Eagles bounce back against the Saints this week. I think I'd lock that one in. I think you're going to have a Saints team that's going to be a little overconfident, and mixed with an Eagles team that's going to be angry. They're going to be ready to play. Give me the Eagles over the Saints as my lock for this week.
Garthberry, I love you, so I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Will you? I'm offering the trade. I'm Howie Roseman. I'm the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm offering the trade. Will you trade me Jordan Love for Jalen Hurts? I'm ready to make the move.
Nah.
See, I wouldn't either if I were you. I wouldn't either. I watched them both play week one, and I feel like I know who the better quarterback is. I feel like I want to rewrite my list. I would trade right now. Injury and all. Give me your stone cold lead pipe lock this week, Kyle.
I mean, this is an interesting week, but I think I'm going to go give me the Chargers over the Steelers. And I feel like after this week, because I think it's going to be a hard-fought game between two really good defensive teams and two really good coaches in Harbaugh and Tomlin, I feel like after this weekend, a lot of people are going to start paying attention to what's going on in LA. Because what I've seen early on, Harbaugh's fingerprint is all over that team. Quentin Johnston's catching touchdowns now. Like, the sky's the limit now in LA. So I'll take them over the Steelers, and people will start really paying attention to what's going on out there. And that's coming from somebody who didn't pick them to make the playoffs or anything. Not saying that they will, but they are definitely intriguing for me right now.
They have played incredible defense interior. They had no interior run defense last year. That's all changed. I don't understand what the addition of Poona Ford does to make that happen, but all credit where credit's due. Godfrey, stone cold lead pipe lock.
Giants are going to get smoked by the Browns. They're getting Jack Conklin back. And their other tackle, which will greatly help the run game. And if you haven't seen anything recently, you can run against the Giants and you can pass against the Giants. I do not see Daniel Jones having a good day that day, and I think that will foster the way for Drew Lock to be named the starting quarterback in Week 4 for Big Blue.
Week 4. I said Week 6. I think Week 6 is where it's at, but that's huge, man. I think that the Giants need to make a move.
Yep.
Gentlemen. Fun show so far. Fun show. Before we wrap up, we'll wrap up one quick comment. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do the Giants or the Carolina Panthers win a football game this year? Or both? Like, do either one of them finish 0-17?
I think they both win at least one. I feel like Carolina gets one with Andy Dalton, and I think the Giants will win one once they go to Drew Lock.
Giants are going to win one for sure. They'll win more than one. The Panthers, I don't know, man. I mean, they'll get one. I don't think you're going to be that. Listen, some want to pick them this week, which I think is crazy, but there is a thing about rallying behind the backup quarterback that fades. They'll win a game. I don't think they're both going to do the Lions and go 0-17, 0-16, I guess.
I think the Panthers have a shot. I think the Giants will win just enough games to keep themselves from getting the top quarterback in next year's draft, and it's going to be hilarious.
I love every part of that. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Any final comments, gentlemen?
Go, Pat, go.
Go,
Pat, go.
There you go. You at least finished it this time. Do you remember when I originally did that? He had no idea what that was. Thank you guys for tuning in to Sideline to Sideline. Appreciate all the fine folks in Northeast Streaming Sports. Kyle Edwards is rooting for the Patriots tonight. The other three of us are on the New York Jets. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Wire Sports Network, Integrity Sports Network, chomping at the bit, Meaty Boys Podcast, N1 Podcast, Birds Deep, Wire to Wire. We are signing out.